This video will focus on the setup of the Price web server graphics package. In the previous video, we set all the IP addresses for this IP router as well as wired the system together. For this example, I have currently connected a PRTU connected to 4 PIC zone controllers, imagine one more here, as well as the components for the webmaster system. There are 2 ways we can get into the web server. The first way would be from on the building LAN, in which case this WAN connection would be connected to your building network, and then we could connect a laptop into that building network as well and go to that static IP address that you got from the IT department. Alternatively, you could plug your laptop directly into one of these LAN ports, if you have one available, and set up the graphics directly from there. And that's what I'm going to do for this example. So, I am just going to open my web browser. And if you look on the front of the web server, you'll see a default IP address of 192.168.97.20. And this will only work if you're connected to the LAN connection of that IP router of our system. So we will go in there, and the first thing you see is the login screen for the web server. The username for this is admin, and the password is pass. And that gets us to our first main screen here. The first thing we are going to do is set up our site settings. So we're going to go into the Tools menu and into Site Settings, and here we're just going to give some general information for this job. So a description of this site for this example would be the Price headquarters. And we can put in the address here, as well as contact information for both emergency contacts as well as service personnel. So this is great if you're a service contractor or have the information of the contractor for this job. So we'll just apply those settings and close that off. And now we can start adding devices to our device tree. So on the left hand side here, we have our device tree starting with the BACnet network, and there's an empty folder called devices. So we're going to right click on this and add a new device. And basically we're going to use the scan functionality. Instead of entering everything in manually, it's going to look for all the items. So you just hit finish there, and it's going to start scanning for everything you can see on the network. This will take a couple minutes, so we'll just wait for that here. Once everything comes in, if you're missing devices, there's a good chance something is miswired or just not connected. So just go back and check your wiring. Alright, so we have stuff come in here. And basically what we have here is a PRTU with device ID 100, a PIC with device ID 101, another one which is 102, and a third which is 103. We also have our back router, and we actually don't need to add that as a device. And you can see by the addressing scheme here that this was set up correctly. The PRTU is address 100, then it's able to pull 101, 102, and 103. So I'm just going to add these one at a time. The first one I'm going to add is this PRTU, and I'm going to call this PRTU at Price, and I'm going to add that from a template. So basically if I hit the select button here, I can go into my PRTU templates, and there's a bunch of different templates I can choose from. And basically the first thing they start with is if you're Celsius or Fahrenheit, so we're going to use a PRTU template in Fahrenheit. We have a polling system, and then the rooftop that we're connected to has 2 stages of cooling and 2 stages of heating. So I'm going to select PRTU, Fahrenheit, polling, 2 cool, 2 heat, and add that to our database. And this will take another minute or 2 as well, as that adds to the database. So we'll just wait for that. And now I can start adding my PIC controllers. So the first one is going to be PIC 101. This is going to be, we'll call that PIC Office 1. And I'm going to select a different template. It's going to be a PIC template. And our Fahrenheit, this is a single Dutch box. So we'll select that, and we'll add that as well. So this will take another minute. We'll add our second one as PIC Office 2. Same template is fine. And our third one is PIC Office 3. And again, the same PIC F single duct template. So we'll hit add there. Once that's done, you can just hit close on the bottom here. And now if you click on the devices tree, we should have all our devices here. So we can see in our PRTU, because we use those templates, we have all the inputs, all our outputs, all our variables. Basically everything you can access in the controller is available to us. We also have a folder here called Graphics, and you can click on that and it gives you a nice general overview of the graphic itself. And that'll come in here. At the top here, basically you'll see it says PRTU and change name and device object. So we can actually go into device object here and change that name. So, oops, close that. I'm going to right click and hit the properties for this, and I am going to call this PRTU at price office. So if this was your building, you'd have RTU1, RTU2, RTU3. This is what you could call it here. So we'll just save that, and you're good to go. By closing that and going back into it, you'll see that the name has already changed. We can also go into our PIC controllers now individually, and they'll all have their own graphics. So you can see what this PIC is currently doing. Same thing for the second PIC, and everything is organized in that tree structure. If you want to edit the graphics, say if you've got a building manager who wants to see something specific on his graphics, you can actually edit them right from the menu here, and we'll have future videos showing you how to do that. So that's your basic setup of your devices. If you need to add anything else, you can just go right back into the device tree and add a new device. You can also put folders here. So say, for instance, I wanted to separate this into folders. I have RTU1 and RTU2. I can make this the RTU1 system and hit finish. And this gives me an empty folder that I can drag all these controllers into here. 2, 3, and finally the PRTU. So we'll just close it off here. So now you can see we've got the RTU1 system completely separate. Then if you add 2 or 3, you can add folders for each of those and keep them nice and separate. So this has been a general overview of the web server. There's some more information in the manuals, as well as, like I said, we'll have some more videos forthcoming with some of the advanced functions.